Your Denver Broncos have more than a puncher's chance at destroying the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday, and Your Honor, if it would please the court, I have a preponderance of evidence that proves to you beyond a shadow of a doubt that the Denver Broncos are about to end the Chiefs dynasty, and it couldn't come a second sooner. If you're new to the channel, I'm a diehard Denver Broncos fan named Ben. Helps me in the algorithm out a ton. If you like the Broncos, would you smash that like and subscribe button? So let's just obviously skip the fact that whenever you play the Chiefs, it's going to be close, and that even in our decade of absolute sucking, we never got blown out by the Chiefs. Okay, that aside. On top of that, let's just take a look at this Vance Joseph defensive coordinated effort against Patrick Mahomes. You take a look at them the last 4 times we've played the Chiefs. We have played them close all the time, always keeping them under 20 points. So in the 3 losses in which they actually started Patrick Mahomes and we played our starters, they're averaging 15 points a game. You're telling me that the Denver Broncos aren't going to score at least 15 points? It's going to happen. If you add in when they last played us and they didn't play the starters, they're only averaging 11 points a game. And in some of their wins, their highest scoring game, this was on that scheduled loss when we had Russell Wilson. It was a Thursday night game, a short week, and the Broncos still almost won that game, and they scored 19 on us. But you look here, the 16-point time where they won, that was on a blocked field goal. So that we've played them incredibly close, and Vance Joseph has the blueprint for how to beat Mahomes. So on top of that, not only were we better than them demonstrably last year in that we lost by a blocked field goal and when we'd outplayed them the whole game, and then we blew out some of their second teamers, although there were a ton of starters still playing on that team. What have both teams done since then? The Broncos have improved all over the place, and all the Kansas City Chiefs have done is regressed and had more of their holes exposed to the public. And I'm going to prove to you, what have they done since we last played? Well, since they last played, we further saw the blueprint. In fact, what the Eagles did in that Super Bowl, and then what the Eagles did when they beat them this year, is figured out how do you hit Patrick Mahomes with only a 4-man pressure. So in that Super Bowl that we all were cheering for the Eagles, they had 6 sacks on 4-man pressures, had never really been done before. The Chiefs had 1 measly first down in the entire first half. The Eagles had more points at the end of the first half than the Chiefs had yards. And Patrick Mahomes was just getting hit all day and seeing ghosts. Well, we know that is already the blueprint the Broncos had put on full display, that when we beat them, or when we should have beat them, although there's the blocked field goal, we took a look here that Patrick Mahomes was sacked 4 times, hit 9 times. And since then, the Broncos defense has just gotten nastier and more to prove and healthier. Okay, and so you're looking here that the Broncos are leading the league right now when it comes to quick pressures, that they're pressuring quickly within under 2.5 seconds. You don't have time to dance around at 23% of the time. This season, when Patrick Mahomes is pressured on 25% of his dropbacks, he is 1-4 this season. Well, you are looking, the Broncos are going to get at 25% quick pressure, much less like number of quarterback hits this time. You're looking here that we have one of the best pass rushing trios in professional sports. And then on top of it, like, that's not even adding in Dondre Tillman. That's not adding in Jonah Ellis. That's not adding in our rotation with John Franklin Meyer and Malcolm Roach. Our defense has gotten so much better than it was the last time, and we outplayed them 4 times in a row. Then on top of that, they have got demonstrably worse, right? That all of the storylines going into the offseason was how the Chiefs had to drastically improve at offensive line. And what did they do? They went out and signed a backup tackle who the San Francisco 49ers rejoiced when their Trent Williams came back, and they got to ship off the left tackle they got in to protect Patrick Mahomes. And then they drafted a rookie who's been AWOL from the team with no reason, no Kansas City Chiefs media. No one knows why this guy just went AWOL and hasn't been with the team. He is back and practicing with the team for the first time in 6 weeks. And Andy Reid saying, like, I don't even know if we're going to be even able to play him. Going up at altitude, he hasn't been on a football field in over a month, and now you're putting him at 5,280 feet against the best pass rushing trio in football. That is not going to age well for him. And if he was leaving because of mental health issues, I think those are just going to be exacerbated trying to block Nick Bonito, Jonathan Cooper, and the pass rush duo that we have there. And then in addition to that, what else did they do on their offensive line? Oh, they traded away their best guard, the Pro Bowl best guard, who's now balling out for the Chicago Bears. They lost DeAndre Hopkins since the last time that we played them. They also lost one of their highest graded defensive players, Justin Reed, who left for, obviously, the New Orleans Saints. They lost Tershawn Wharton in free agency, and now their interior of their defensive line is a 35-year-old Mike Pennell and an aging Chris Jones who has not played very well at all this year, who's essentially negated by the fact that Bo Nix is one of the most elusive quarterbacks out there. We can run away from him. Like when you're an interior pass rusher, we just run to the left or run to the right and stay away from you. It's also RJ Harvey's huge strength. And so I think defensively that matches up perfectly. They had an abysmal running game, and that running game took a massive step back as their number one running back, who's still the 30th best running back in the league, so he wasn't even that great. But Pacheco has not practiced all week and probably will not be playing in this game. And now we're seeing here George Karlaftis is now questionable for this game. So the only edge rusher on that team that scares you is George Karlaftis, and he's questionable for the game. Although none of the edge rushers scare me because we know that who has Garrett Bowles absolutely locked down this year. You're seeing he locked both of these guys down, and you didn't even hear their name. You didn't hear Danielle Hunter when we played the Texans. You didn't even hear Max Crosby last week, and so our offensive line is absolutely fantastic. The Chiefs lost a ton of players, and that's what happens when the bulk of your cap space is going to just a couple of guys, which is exactly what the Chiefs did. I know they're the boogeyman in our heads, but they have gotten worse, and you cannot continue to succeed when you're paying all of your cap money to a bunch of old, aging superstars. On top of that, Travis Kelce has played decently this year, but we know Father Time is undefeated. Andy Reid gave the team the entire week off. They'll be coming back, but you got to remember, what else have the Broncos done? They held Travis Kelce in check last time he played, and then we went out and got a Pro Bowl inside linebacker who is literally the kryptonite for Travis Kelce. That the last time these two guys faced off was in the Super Bowl, 49ers, Kansas City Chiefs, and when Dre Greenlaw was healthy in that first half, he'd held him to just one catch for 1 yard. And then he tears his Achilles, and you see that Kelce goes out and ends up having 8 catches for almost 100 yards. Greenlaw is a difference maker and is going to be the difference maker. His snap count, it was further reduced last week against the Raiders. He jumped up to 67% of the snaps, 67, and I think that's just going to increase, and you were going to see Travis Kelce just absolutely obliterated from this map. On top of that, what else have we done defensively to get better? Oh yeah, we went out and got Talanoa Hufanga, who's playing at an absolute all-pro level right now. Like, people are saying he's going to make an all-pro, definitely going to make a Pro Bowl. So you're looking here that already we were holding you to 14 points a game, and we added 2 Pro Bowlers who are looking fantastic, and Nick Bonito has taken another huge step forward, and Jonathan Cooper's taken a huge step forward, and this team is built different from a chemistry standpoint, from a talent standpoint. Other things that are different from the last time we played them is that we have the third best rookie in all of professional football when it comes to scoring the ball. He's got 4 touchdowns just behind Tony Horton and Emeka Egbuka, who have 6 and 5. So you're looking at an absolute speedster, and we have gotten better. So the Broncos have gotten better. They don't have a rookie quarterback anymore. You got Bo Nix going into his second year. We've seen massive steps up in Troy Franklin, who's already outpaced his production from last year. Evan Ingram has already had more yards receiving than our entire tight end room did last year. You don't have a rookie quarterback anymore. So the Chiefs have demonstrably gotten worse. The Broncos have gotten better from a talent standpoint. And while this isn't a direct comparison, like the distributive property doesn't always work here when you look at like opponents, but I think this is super important to look at because it's all we have until Sunday afternoon when the Broncos mollywop the Chiefs. But here's the deal. We have both played the Chargers, and the Broncos played the Chargers a lot better than the Kansas City Chiefs did. The Broncos had to go to LA on a home game for the Chargers. The Chiefs got to go to Brazil and play on a neutral field, and their opponent also had to travel. And so the fact that the Broncos held the Chargers to less points and lost that on a last-second field goal there to the Chargers, the Broncos outplayed the Chargers and played them better. We both have played the Eagles. The difference is the Broncos went on a short week. They played a Monday Night Football game, flew out to one of the toughest places in the country to play, and beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And if you take a look here, I switched those up there. Bo Nix threw for more yards against the Eagles than Patrick Mahomes did in a loss. So Bo Nix had 242 yards passing and a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes, to the same exact defense, was held to 187 yards and had an interception and 1 touchdown. In addition to that, you're looking at the Chiefs lost at home, whereas the Broncos won on the road. Same exact opponent, and then you just take a look here that the Chiefs lost to a Jaguars team on the road. That same Jaguars team could not beat the Davis Mills led Houston Texans last week. So the Jaguars aren't a good team, and you have basically Patrick Mahomes has won one road game all season long, and it was to the Russell Wilson-led Giants that immediately fired Russell Wilson and gave the start to Jackson Dart almost immediately after that. The fact of the matter is we have a crazy home field advantage that has been proven time and time again against these guys, and the Broncos have a 10-game home winning streak. This is the first time in NFL history where a team who has such a huge home winning streak is actually the underdog in this. And then lastly, a lot of people are just discounting our 7-game win streak. John Franklin Meyer came out and said there are no easy wins in the NFL. You can't discount this win streak. We've beat the best offense in football in the 7-game win streak and scored 44 points on the Dallas Cowboys. That's a much scarier offense than what the Chiefs are about to throw out to us. We've also beat the best defense in football in the Houston Texans. This Broncos team is tried and true. We've got the receipts of doing this in the past. The only thing that I can think of in my mind is it reminds me of playing hoops against your dad growing up. And he spends the first 14 years of your life just destroying you, and in the back of your head there's probably a 2-year stretch there where you physically could beat him, but because he's beat you so many times in your mind you just can't get over that. But then once you beat your dad for the first time, it's game over and he never beats you again. That's exactly what's happening with the Chiefs. They own us mentally right now, but I think this Denver Broncos team is going to be the team that officially ends the dynasty. We've gotten better, they've gotten worse. We've gotten younger and hungrier, and they are complacent and older. Likewise, opponents, similar opponents. We've beat teams that on the road that they've lost to at home. The Broncos are going to win the AFC West essentially this Sunday, and we've all been there for it because Broncos country, we got so much to BO-Lieve in. Dad, I can still beat you in basketball even if I can't hit this. Woo! Ball don't lie.